everybody, to the Beer Guys radio show. Thanks for joining us this week for some craft beer in conversation. I am Tim Dennis. Brian Hewitt, how are you doing?
I'm good. I have a new t-shirt, Tim. I have my trashed Panda t-shirt. You remember me talking about that?
Let's see. Are you wearing it? Let's see. Move the beard. So that was the Panda that like broke into a liquor store or a convenience store or something and got into the goods.
Yeah. So I had to go find the story. We talked about it back in December. I'd forgotten, but Ashland, Virginia. He broke into a liquor store, knocked over some bottles, drank a bunch of it, and passed out in the bathroom next to the toilet. But apparently he'd broken into some other things like the local DMV and a karate studio. So I believe he knows karate and probably has a driver's license as well. So
handy.
Yeah, Rocky the trashed Panda. Yeah.
Okay, he's living life, man. There's not many raccoons that have that kind of adventure on their raccoon resume.
Not many at all. No. And he survived all of it too. So he's out there somewhere doing his thing. It's the most interesting raccoon in the world. Say.
They need to get him. They need to book a deal with him
should,
there.
Yeah.
So is that foreshadowing, Brian?
Yeah. Or five shadowing.
A little bit. Okay.
Maybe
all right.
3 shadowing. I don't know. Yeah.
Nate, what kind of t-shirt are you wearing this week?
I'm just wearing a hoodie tonight, so no t-shirt.
Wow, that's disappointing. No wildlife on yours at all, huh?
No, it's just straight black, nothing exciting. Maybe a little, something worth looking at, but nothing exciting.
Okay, all right. You do look nice, so you look presentable, Nate, which is it's a good thing, man. It's a good thing.
Well, yeah, I'll take the compliment, Tim. I have been awake since 3 a.m. this morning, so it's been a very long day. And my job today was to stand in line at the DMV. So I'm just happy to be here with you boys and talking beer.
You and the Panda, man. You and the trash Panda at the DMV. Good stuff. Want to give a shout out to Tyler. Tyler is drinking a Dragon's Milk bourbon barrel aged stout in the Tall Boy. Got him a long beer there. So, and Sean is a Fatheads Brewery Sant Fatty's Irish Red Ale. So he's getting ahead of the holiday there a little bit.
Got to warm up for
beers.
It. Yeah.
You do. You got to pregame. And if you start pregaming in January for March holiday, that is what they call preparation.
That is what you call being prepared.
Unless it's the fall beers, and then we call it seasonal creep, and we're not about that.
Right. Yeah. I'm not sure when the line goes there, too late, too early. We know you can't start them until September 1st.
If you're still drinking last year's, though, I think you're still in the clear. Anything all the way back to Oktoberfest, if you still have some, I don't have any of those, but if you still had some of those and you're enjoying drinking them, carry on.
We should write these rules down because there's a lot of them. There's a lot on what's acceptable to drink at the time. Stouts, summer, of course, is fine. And then, of course, cold weather. So that's totally fine. Oktoberfest and the festy type of beers, as everyone knows, you can't start drinking those till September 1st. It's literally illegal. You'll go, believe it or not, straight to jail.
Yeah.
For that. So, yeah. Good stuff. Well, guys, speaking of drinking, Brian, what's on your beers of the week?
Yeah, so I pre-gamed with a Pabst Blue Ribbon, the Godzilla edition. I still have a few of those knocking around, and this is a little bit more foreshadowing. There's a tie-in here if we get to it, but much. Yeah, it's fine. It's Pabst, and it's a fun can, so I got into that. I am currently drinking a Microphone Brewing Lunches, Brunches, Interviews, which is a double IPA with Nelson Sauvin and Motueka hops. I wasn't sure how old this was when I got it, but I rolled the dice, and it's tasting real good. So I think it was reasonably fresh. I'm amazed I find this occasionally. I've got a place that's a bit of a honey hole that will occasionally surprise me with a little microphone and a few other things. So I'm always on the lookout for that. Happy I found this. And then I'm going to follow it up with the Patreon folks, the after party when we do that. I'm going to get into some Hop Slam, Tim.
All right.
Hop Slam.
Have you gotten into that yet this year?
I had one already. Yeah. I had to test it out to see how it is. And yes, last year's was better, of course.
Of course.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But of course, that's a big boozy double IPA. People have heard of it. It's 10%. I'd forgotten that. I went and looked at the stats. I'm like, oh, that's right. It's 10%. It's big.
Good stuff, man.
Piney hop, citrusy. It's got some honey in it. I believe it still has some honey in it. They don't actually specifically mention that in the Untapped write-up anymore. So
I can you can typically taste that there's some honey in there. Does it taste like there's a little honey note in there?
I think so, but I was looking for it when I had it before. So I'm gonna think about that when I'm drinking it tonight. I was a little distracted when I drank it before. I'm like, okay, yeah, this tastes, marginally in the same ballpark as what I was expecting. So yeah, so that's my plan.
Okay, fair enough.
I'll check it out later on and find out and let you know.
Good stuff. And Nate, you're pinstriping this year, so This is a non-alcoholic week. So you got
Correct.
some NAs on deck. What's on tap for you this week?
Yeah, so I was at my local beer shop over the weekend, and I happened to come across a new release from Athletic Brewing Company called the, in quotations, Paloma. And that is basically, it's like a grapefruit radler. They're calling it an RTD, but it's got some of the NA beer qualities about it. But it's pretty heavily juiced with grapefruit. This is honestly really refreshing. I have been enjoying this a lot. And then on deck from Athletic, an expression from Untitled Art. I've got their Italian Pilsner. I've had it several times before. I've really enjoyed it. Now they rebranded it as FLVR exclamation point, and that's the NA Italian style Pils. So flavor Italian style Pilsner. Yeah, looking forward to that one. It's been a while since I've had it, so I think I've got some pretty quality stuff this week.
Some good NAs. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Well, Brian, moving into our news, everybody's being impacted by the beer industry, every brewery of every size. And we found out the world's oldest monastic brewery is being sold.
Yeah, I didn't realize these guys were the world's oldest, but so Germany's Weltenberger, I'm not sure the appropriate way to say it. They're recognized as the world's oldest monastic brewery, and they're being sold to Munich-based brewery Schneiderweiss. Weltenberger is said to have been brewing beer for nearly 1,000 years, and it's still an active monastery. Although the facility is owned by the Catholic Church, the monks handed over the beer production to staff from the Bischofshof. I think I'm saying that right. I think I'm saying that probably wrong, honestly, but that's as close as I get. Bischofshof Brewery about half a century ago, so the 1920s. The Bischofshof Brewery is also being sold to Schneiderweiss. It's kind of a package deal. These two kind of go together. Production will continue at the Weltenberger Abbey, but the Bischofshof facility will cease production at the end of the year. All of the beers will be brewed by Schneider in the future. The sale was prompted by several years of financial losses, which isn't surprising considering how beer is going these days. That was requiring the Diocese of Regensburg to subsidize the brewery to keep it afloat. And you don't want your diocese subsidizing your brewery. Can't have that. The financial details of the transaction have not been released, but all 21 Weltenberger employees will keep their job. The Regensburg Diocese is looking for placement for the Bischofshof workers, whose jobs will be lost in the closure. They have been made, quote unquote, redundant. Oh. I always hate that for a job. You're redundant now. I'm like,
it is redundancies.
It's gross. It's gross. But anyway, I mean, this is just an indication of the sign of the times. The German beer market is facing significant downturn these days. Beer consumption fell by 5 million hectoliters in 2025. That's the largest decline for Germany in 75 years. So this is a bad time for brewery in Germany.
It's a bad time.
Beers.
It is a bad time. Now, not intricate to the story here, but you said that they turned over brewing a half century ago. And
sorry.
And you said the 20s, so half century, 70s. They turned it over, correct?
Yes. I was thinking, I saw century, my brain thought 100 years, but yes, I think it's the 70s. Now, I think that checks out. Yeah.
Are you familiar with their beer, Brian? The Weltenberger?
I'm not. No, I saw this and I'm like, I didn't know about these guys.
Yeah. And I see them here on the Artisanal Imports website, which would indicate they do get to the US. I believe that's who the importer is for that. So, but maybe not. Maybe I'm mistaken there. But it's a brand I'm not familiar with either until I saw that article earlier this week and noticed the same thing.
When you type it into Untappd, the first thing that comes up is Kloster Barock Dunkel, and I thought for a second I recognized it, but I really don't. So I would like to check them out. I actually I do like a good Dunkel, and a monastic beer that I've not had before. That's intriguing. So I'm gonna keep an eye out for them. Maybe they'll help them out with their business a little bit. We'll see.
That's what I was thinking. Just see what they're up to. You remember when I don't even remember the name of it, but there was an abbey in like Boston or Massachusetts at least. Spencer Trappist, and they did a couple of beers there. And when they first started doing them, there was a lot of hype. Everybody wanted to get this American Trappist ale in that. And I think they did a couple other styles, at least one other, and I think they ceased production, if I remember correctly.
They did.
I don't think they do it anymore. What a bummer, man. What a bummer.
Their white ale was the one that got around. I actually found a few of them, and one of the beers that I got was not good. They did not do a good job with it. But for a while, because I was very interested in being the only American Trappist brewery that was out there, they did they did like a seasonal. They started doing IPAs and seasonal fruited beers too. They were trying to catch on to the trends at the time. They may have even done a saison or two, but it wasn't working out for them, and they went away. I think they were pre-COVID. I think they were gone in 2018 or 2019, honestly.
That was so Tyler just commented, is Germany's beer woes linked to their poor economy possibly? And I'm sure that plays into it. There's a lot of factors right now. We know, depending on what article you read, the latest generation isn't picking up drinking like us Gen Xers did and that. So that's slowing it down. People becoming more health conscious. And I saw a thing, I think it may have been posted by Brewbound, that said, if I remember the number right, they said 71% of people doing dry January say they are not going to resume drinking alcohol at the end of dry January. And I posted as a comment to their post that Ron Burgundy clip of him saying, "I don't believe you," as he gets out a cigarette, because I just don't believe that people are going to take a month off and then 71% of those people are quitting drinking altogether. Yeah, I don't believe that many people. Beer drinkers aren't quitters, man. Right, Tyler?
Yeah.
So
right.
That's it. So I believe now maybe 71% of people said they were going to do that, but I don't even see that many people saying it.
I would believe maybe 71% of the people who actually succeed in doing dry January, because I'm going to tell you probably at least 50% of the people who try it aren't going to make it. I'm like, there's a fair amount of people that don't make it to the end. They just give up on it. Like, the heck with it. I'm not going to miss this party, or I have this exception. The heck with it. I'm just going to go with it. But I don't know. But
so this time last year, I was going to some physical therapy, and the nurse that took care of me there, we got to talking. She liked craft beer and that, so we got to talking about that. And she's like, "Yeah, dry January is coming up, so I'm going to do that." She's like, "It's good for health. We're going to see how it goes." I think it was. I don't even think it was into the second week of January. I was into the first week, and I go in for an appointment, and I'm like, "Hey, how's dry January going?" She's like, "Pretty good." She said, "I had a friend coming to town unexpectedly this weekend, so of course we had a couple of beers." But so it's like it's dry, but if an occasion comes up where it's like, I got a friend from out of town, of course we got to have a couple drinks there. So, and we can just follow our new government guidelines, because they get everything right, and just drink less. Yeah, just drink less. Nate's over there striping the weeks with his beer, and I think she went like a whole 3 days without a drink before her friend came into town. So it's the little things that count.
Exactly. Tim, I got to tell on myself. 5 years ago, I did have a Weltenberg beer, and I had it at Old Heidelberg Restaurant and Lounge. I think that's up in Helen, Georgia.
That's in Helen, right?
Because I got a picture of me with it's a Stein. So I apparently did have it. I gave it 4.25 stars or caps or whatever.
All right. Fair enough.
Said it's something about the eine coffee notes. So I guess it has a good coffee note to it or something. I don't know.
Interesting.
I was probably drunk when I did it, so I have no idea. But apparently I have had it, and I did like it. So there we go.
Okay. Yeah, that's like Sean here is suggesting, you can have a damp January. It doesn't have to be totally wet or dry. Brian, we've said moist before. So you reach into your heart and you do whatever with January you feel best about.
That's right. Mine will be
and
very
we'll
moist.
still love you for sure. Well, Brian, a brewery that when it was open had plenty of drama going on. And, we're not ones. The internet loves to hear something bad about any company and just absolutely run with it. Like any rumor, any scandal, anything like that, they're getting their pitchforks out. I've always been one to say, let's see what the pattern is here. Or let's get the full story before we make an opinion. I will tell you this, the internet does not like that. The internet does not care at all for you trying to get all the facts if they have already made up their mind on a certain situation. But Rogue Brewery, pretty consistently, we heard things about the way they treated employees over the years, to the point that I just kind of wrote them off. I didn't seek them out. Really, I actually tried to avoid them. So this news, Brian, will not come as any surprise to those that know the history of Rogue Brewing. But the former employees are suing Rogue over the way they closed the brewery.
Yeah, this is an interesting one. So, yes, Rogue Ales and Spirits, they ceased operations back in November, and they filed for Chapter 7 bankruptcy. It was very abrupt when they did this, and they had $16.7 million in debt. So, this significant debt. They just ground to a halt. A former Rogue employee, like you said, says that they violated the Worker Adjustment and Retraining Notification Act, a.k.a. the WARN Act, when they closed like that. And he's filed a class action lawsuit against Oregon Brewing, which is Rogue's parent company. I didn't actually know they had a parent company.
I didn't either.
For the alleged violation. The WARN Act requires 60 days advance notice prior to a plant closure or a mass layoff of at least 50 employees. The lawsuit alleges that Rogue's 300-plus employees did not get that warning, got basically almost no warning at all, which does, that makes sense given the suddenness of the closure. They were just in business and then they were out. The plaintiffs are seeking, quote, administrative expense status, and that's a thing that will give them, would move them and their unpaid employee wages and benefits to the front of the line for repayment during the bankruptcy liquidation, so they'll get paid first. Last December, a similar lawsuit was filed by a former Pabst employee against the brewer in Texas. They closed a Pabst thing in Texas. Alleging the company failed to file a WARN notice before laying off employees as it shut down a San Antonio office. The lawsuit apparently didn't go anywhere. The filer voluntarily dismissed it about a week later, or I don't know what happened there. Either it didn't have merit or somebody got paid. I'm not sure what happened with that. But so I don't really know what to make of this. On the one hand, there have been rumors of, like you were saying, Rogue not treating their employees well, and I read some old threads extensively because they were full of drama and they were kind of juicy about it. But on the other hand, it wouldn't surprise me if Rogue didn't know it was about to close, 60 days before it actually did close. I'm guessing there are a lot of businesses that are about one bad month away from bankruptcy right now. So that's a thing. And apparently the WARN Act does have exceptions for faltering companies that are actively seeking capital when they close. So I don't know what to think of this. Like, I'm not sure if this was Rogue jabbing their former employees one last time, or if it really was they got sideswiped with this. They had loans or whatever that they planned on getting with their bank that were dried up or something like that to maintain operating costs or whatever. I know that's a lot of loans and banking goes into some of these large organizations continuing to run on a month-to-month basis, and that if that dries up, they're SOL basically. So I don't know what happened there. I don't know. What do you think, Tim? You think that this is malicious?
Well, no, your last line kind of answered one of the questions I have. I mean, they're going bankrupt, going out of business and all of that. I kind of feel like those kind of things would have some exceptions in there. And it was something that I do believe I heard that Rogue was trying to secure the additional funding and was denied. So it could have been something where they're like, hey, this is our Hail Mary. We need to catch this pass to keep the doors open. And if they didn't get that and they're like, we're out of options here, you can't go anywhere from there if you expended all your options. So, again, not a fan of Rogue, but as someone who does try and look at everything through, the lens of what's right, what's reasonable here, it may have just been a bad situation. Maybe they had no desire or intentions to screw anybody over or not give them the notice, but the business fails and that happens. We had it happen here, Brian, in Georgia with Jekyll Brewing, there were a lot of people there that said that may be a little different. I think some people said that they found out by like logging into their time card application or something like that. I forget the exact details there, but we know a lot of companies that they try, especially when it's something you put your blood, sweat, and tears into for years and years and years. And another thing we've seen lately, especially with the smaller breweries, is they'll say they've got to close, and all their fans will come out talking about, oh, that's so sad. I hate to hear that, this and that. And they're like, man, there's a lot of people that love us. We need to stay open here. And they'll launch a Kickstarter campaign or a GoFundMe or something along those lines. And y'all, I love craft beer. I really do. I love craft brewers. I want them all to do well. But if someone has already announced or has announced that they're closing their doors, if you give money to their Kickstarter, their GoFundMe, that's absolutely just to make yourself feel better about things, because it's not going to keep the doors open, because you're going to have to raise a heck of a lot more than you need to through a Kickstarter and through the kindness. And I think it's brewers, if you're thinking about doing this, just really think about it, whether or not it's truly going to keep the doors open, or you're just trying to take that because you're taking money from your fans to do something like that. And that's not fair to them, unless you truly have a plan to turn things around there.
On the other hand, if you're a fan and you realize that it's likely they're still going to go out of business, but you're buying yourself a few more trips in and you're okay with that, then maybe it's fine. It's like, you know what? I'm buying another month worth of beer from them. I'm like, I guess if that's your favorite beer ever, like
I don't want to have to pay admission to go to a brewery,
Yeah.
So that's kind of it. But hey, it's in the end, it's your money. So you spend it irresponsibly, however you choose to.
Exactly. Yes.
Crazy stuff. Brian, this is some good news in the beer world. I'm going to say this is good news, even though it's not technically craft beer, but I was a fan of this. I'm excited about this. Dos Equis, Brian. They are bringing back the most interesting man in the world.
Yes, they're bringing back Jonathan Goldsmith as the most interesting man in the world after a 10-year hiatus in an attempt to combat falling sales. Dos Equis retail sales fell 8% in 2025. Significantly underperforming competitors like Modelo and Corona, both of those guys also fell, but only about 2%. So they're, falling less. So sales are being hit by a combination of high inflation, other things, economic issues, and also a chilled Hispanic consumer market due to increased immigration enforcement and ICE activity. Honestly, Hispanic people are not going out buying a lot of beers and throwing parties because they don't want to be a target. So, right. I mean, I get that. Executives hope that meme culture with younger drinkers and nostalgia for older ones will help Dos Equis claw back market share from Modelo when they see the ads, obviously, which has dominated the category recently. I haven't seen any of the new ads. I think they're already out at this point, but the timing is kind of funny. There seemed to be, and maybe this is connected and I just didn't realize it, but there seemed to be a trend on social media, I think it was a few months back, of the most interesting man in the world spoofs, where they did other things with it, and all of it was obviously AI generated slop of like the most Irish man in the world, and a lot of it was probably really racist. But
pretty racist, yeah.
There were some that were about pets that I thought were really funny, like the orange cats and how crazy they are, and various types of dogs, and the dumb things they do. So yeah. Anyway, maybe social media, the youth culture is ready for a comeback of this kind. They've already been exploiting this meme. So I don't know. You're already happy it's coming back. So
I think it's cool. I like that. I thought that was a cool campaign. I like the dude in the campaign, and the fact that they're bringing him back for it. Because didn't they try a couple years ago with like a younger guy?
They did. Yes,
I hated those instantly. It felt wrong. It felt wrong. So, the fact that they're bringing back the Jonathan Goldsmith for the ads, and I'm curious to see what they do with them. I'm curious to see if they live up to the legacy.
I remember I used to watch them to see if they were different. I wanted to see. Oh wait, hold on. There's one on here.
Yeah,
I think they play them during like the Super Bowl or whatever. I'm like, I want to hear this. I want to see if this is a different one. Yeah. Did you buy Dos Equis as a result of these commercials? Did you like?
It's funny you ask that, because I was just thinking as you're looking through this. No, I don't think I ever did, unless it was, subconscious. I've had Dos Equis, and there may have been times that I was, maybe at a Mexican restaurant where that seemed to be the best beer choice at the time. But given a range of options, I've never selected Dos Equis as the beer that I wanted.
I have definitely gotten it at Mexican restaurants over, say, like a Modelo, like years ago when the commercial was on, in part because of that. I'm like, you know what?
Okay.
I like that. Let me get the beer. Let's try the beer. And I never really had a really strong, feeling for any of them. Like I didn't like Modelo more than Corona. I didn't like Corona was always widely available when in my youth. Any place that, places that had Mexican lagers, that was usually the one they had. And if that was what was available, that's what I drank. But I didn't love it more than any other. I didn't have a strong feeling about one over the other. So I did like, I think it was Dos Equis Amber. I took a shot.
Okay.
And it might have been because of the commercials that I explored and found that one. I'm like, I like this one. So I don't know.
It's interesting because I think when these first came out, the manly masculine man was cool.
That's
and I don't think right now that machismo is something that people buy into as much. So it'll be interesting to see if they change the tone of the commercials or how they strike there. And we've got some interesting comments here in the chat regarding these commercials. So first of all, just a fun fact: he's Jewish, which you may have guessed from the name. He looks very Hispanic, Mediterranean, Hispanic. Yeah. So,
I just assumed he was Hispanic. I didn't know.
But Jewish guy. And and Sean, beer snob Sean chimed in, and he did say the Ambar version is pretty
that's a pretty decent
there.
beer. Yeah, I like it. I would still drink it if I saw it around. I haven't seen it in a while, honestly. But
yeah, interesting stuff. But yeah, man, I'm curious to see what they do with it. And like talking about the AI slop videos they did, I have no idea why, but man, racism sure was popular in those. Like half of the AI videos you'd see come across had some sort of racist tone to it.
There was a minute, like I want to say it was like 2 or 3 months ago, where it was just like constant AI slop, but like strongly racist. But for whatever reason, the most interesting whatever in the world, or the most Irish man in the world, I saw several times. And obviously I watched those as an Irish guy, and, it was all about him drinking and fighting. And I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. But yeah, everything was like that. And I'm like, why are all these showing up? I realized I had to stop watching them because the algorithm was going to keep pushing this crap on me if I kept watching. I'm like, and so I just started skipping them. I'm like, yeah, all right. That one's about a dachshund dog. I'm sure that's cute, but I can't watch it because if I watch it, I'm going to see all the other crap it's going to shovel at me. I have no interest in seeing that. I'm like, it's played out. So I don't know why that got really popular 2 or 3 months ago, but it did. I don't know.
The algorithm will get you, man. Like I'll have certain days where like a certain style of video, I'm like, well, that's fun. So I'll watch like 4 or 5 of them. There's these, again, more AI stuff, but they're called like messing with Sasquatch or something like this. And he talks. Yeah. And there was one day I probably spent 10 or 15 minutes going through watching half and a dozen of those 1-minute videos. And then just nonstop for like 2 weeks after that, like 80% of the videos it fed me. I'm like, no, I burnt myself out on that. I've seen enough of this. So the algorithm's got some learning to do. It knows what you're watching them, but it can't discern that it's not part of your, your normal content consumption there.
It needs to know when to say when.
That's right. Yeah. Know when to say when.
Yeah.
Brian, before we move on here, how about we get a shout out to our friends at Truck and Tap?
That seems like a really good idea. All right. So believe it or not, Mardi Gras isn't far off. I was surprised by this, but if you don't already have plans for Saturday, February 7th, that's about 2 weeks from now, or when the show drops, I think exactly 2 weeks. Drop by your local Truck and Tap and enjoy beads and beers and other festive drinks. Maybe you'll see some king cake there. I have no idea. I didn't see anything about it, but maybe. You never know. And if you happen to be at the Woodstock or Alpharetta locations, there's more fun to be had with a local Mardi Gras bar crawl. And I can vouch for Woodstock definitely being a great little town to stroll around with a beer in your hand. It's a fun place to do that. But apparently you can do that in Alpharetta too, which is kind of neat. That's a fun place as well. But what are you going to drink while you're there at Truck and Tap? I have a few ideas and a little thing I like to call my beer picks for the week. At Truck and Tap Woodstock, I'm going with Roadhouse's Plasma. This New England IPA is, quote, an odyssey for the limits of dankness, the craziest of the haziest, okay, drenched in a lake of oil, or so it says in the Untapped entry. I'm a little scare-roused by this beer, but I'm intrigued by the hop selection. It features Alani, Pink, and 1019 hops. I think I've only ever encountered one of those, and that's Alani. I don't know about Pink and 1019, but anyway, this is a beer that must be tried, and I like what Roadhouse does so far. Their cans are neat too. At the Duluth location, I'm getting Stillfire's Thoroughly Good. Thoroughly Good is a bourbon barrel aged Scotch ale, and the description makes it sound decadent. The word is it has rich vanilla, caramel, bourbon, sherry, and dark fruit notes. Shut up and take my money already. So that's all I got to say. At Truck and Tap Alfredo, my pick is Creature Comforts Hopfen on the side pull tap. And of course, I'm going to have a side pull tap beer in here. It's a crisp German Pilsner with a bright floral hop aroma, and I'm always going to want to drink a beer like that. So this is a no-brainer. And finally, at the Lawrenceville location, I'm going with Blue Jacket's brand new Vandals. This is a New England double IPA with Nelson Sauvin and Citra hops, which is enough to get me interested already. That combination sounds good. But it's also said to be oat-heavy, full-bodied, and smooth. Smooth, you say? Why, smooth is my favorite flavor, and everybody's favorite flavor. Smooth. You like those smooth notes, Tim? Smooth is great. Anyway.
What are you doing, Brian?
Getting weird with smooth. I love it when people describe something.
I didn't know if something was coming up there or, okay.
You never know with me, Tim.
Carry on, Brian.
All right, I will carry on. That is my beer picks for the week. There you have them. As always, if you'd like to see the full tap list before stopping by, take a look at truckandtap.com. The taps change quickly, and you never know what great new beer might come on, or which of these might disappear. You never know. And if you'd like to see what the food trucks are serving and what events are happening, trivia, karaoke, bar crawls, that kind of thing, you can find that at truckandtap.com. Everything you need to know can be found at truckandtap.com. So check that out, and thank you to Truck and Tap for your support. And I'm sorry about the weirdness, Truck and Tap. We still love you.
Truck and Tap, thank you so much for all the smooth taste in beers.
That's
we
right.
appreciate that you got us covered there, man. Good stuff. Brian, when you go out for beer, I imagine the first thing you think when you look at a beer menu is all of this beer is too affordable. It's just too friendly on my pocketbook.
Yeah.
Too affordable beer, right?
Yeah, how cheap everything is. That's exactly what I think of.
And if you're not thinking that, Brian, there is a prohibitionist group out there that says just that's the problem right now with all the drinking, is that the alcohol is just too darn affordable.
Yes, Tim, in what has to be the most out-of-touch opinion ever published, the prohibitionist whack jobs at the World Health Organization, the WHO, you don't want to know, are claiming that alcohol is now too affordable. Too affordable. They're basing that harebrained idea on tax rates not keeping the pace with inflation, and they consider the current tax rates on alcohol to be low in most countries. Excise tax currently makes up about 21% of the retail price for beer globally and about 28% for spirits. Wine does get some special treatment here, and it is apparently exempt from these taxes in at least 25 countries. Many of them are in Europe, so that's not helping wine right now. They are really struggling. I guess people didn't hear about how affordable wine is, but the official WHO recommendation, which was written in crayon on the back of the cereal box, is that governments should significantly strengthen and redesign tax systems to raise prices. That will simultaneously reduce consumption and generate revenue for public health services. The official Bryan Health Organization recommendation is that anyone supplying the WHO with money should instead use that money to buy beer. So there you have it.
Too affordable. Too
affordable. Yes.
Man, I guess I just people trying to tell other people how to live their lives, and I can see tackling alcoholism, like doing some things there. But for one thing, even if you tax it, people who have an issue are still going to buy it. So you're just going to have people out there that can't afford the other necessities of life, So I'm not saying, it needs to be dirt cheap or anything, which I would be okay with. But, coming out is too affordable, raise the taxes, this and that. No one wants to support that. No one wants more taxes.
I don't like the idea of sin tax. I mean, the people like, I don't like you doing that. So I want to punish your wallet. And the government's only the politicians only too happy to like sign up for it. It's like, because they get the money. Like, oh yeah, we'll do that for the children. We'll do that. Give me your money for the children. Yeah, of course. That's and
tobacco, lottery funds, all the stuff. Like the government doesn't truly care whether or not you're an alcoholic or a gambler or anything like that. They just want to figure out how to monetize it because they know those are the things like gambling. Gambling is illegal in the state of Georgia, except for the state-funded lottery. And, Brian, I forgot about this one. It's always for the children.
Of course it's for the children.
It's always for the children. They'll say these funds are going into an education fund, a K through 5 education fund or this and that. Tobacco had one called S-chip, which I think was a healthcare thing. If I forget what S-chip stands for, but
children's healthcare or something like that.
Yeah. So, but that's the way they always do it. They tie it into it's for the children, and people are like, "Oh, it's for the children." Then okay.
So they can route those funds into that program, but take the funds that were allocated out of it to replace it.
Of course, absolutely, man, absolutely.
What is it? The 3-card Monty thing? They're just doing that with money. Yeah. Like this has nothing to do with. Yeah, whatever.
Our government always doing what's right for the children.
Sure.
I think that's their motto there. So, yeah. Anyhow, 2 affordable beer. What a concept.
I think Brian, their wallets, they have the children monogrammed on their wallet. So it's for the children. So it's their wallet.
And give that to the children.
The children.
There.
Yeah.
Brian, now here's one I haven't seen anything about. So I don't know what you've got going here. This is something new. But according to you, and this headline written on our document, beer brulee is trending right now.
I think you're gonna recognize some things here, Tim.
Okay,
let me get into it.
Let's go.
So recently, an Instagram video that Brooklyn's Grim Artisan Ales posted went viral, got millions of views, and was mentioned on foodandwine.com, which is where I saw this. And in it, and tell me if you've heard of this before, they put a hot poker into a cold beer. And foamy chaos ensues, Tim.
Okay,
so this is what happens.
I got you.
Of course, if you've been listening to the show very long, of course you've heard us talking about this. We've been hot poking beers for years here, and a little over 3 years at this point. That's I think that's the earliest reference I could find in the show. I thought it went back even further than that, but I don't know. And we tried it out on a beer during the recording of the last Christmas show, as I recall. I don't remember if it was included in the show. I think it might have been Santa Claus, but I'm not 100% sure. Do you remember which one it was?
I think we tried it on a couple, but I do believe Santa Claus was one we did it on, and it was good. I mean, it is something, it does change the texture and flavor of the beer a little bit. It's not going to turn it into a different beer, but especially something that's rich and malty, like the Santa Claus or something along those lines. It does really well. We have also tried it on hoppy beers, IPAs, and it's horrendous. Do not do that. So get you a nice stout or something that's got, some good malt character in there that can get some nice toasty caramelization on it.
Do you remember I think it was was it like a coffee triple IPA from Monday night or something like that? It was like a dessert IPA. I think this would be cool in a case like that. Or a push pop IPA.
It was a white chocolate, the one from Monday night, white chocolate coffee.
Yeah, something like that. A white chocolate coffee IPA, and it was unbelievably, unusually good. It was you wouldn't have expected it. I bet it would work in that, or like I said, the push pop, the creamsicle IPA that was a thing for a short period of time. But
Monday night's done a couple beers. It's like. This is either going to be great or a total train wreck. And if you just go by that, like the description of the beer, you'd probably think train wreck. But because we know Monday night and we trust what they brew there, I'm like, all right, if Monday night's putting this out, I trust it's pretty good.
They generally, if it's out by them, I've not come across anything to make me question that. Even the most unusual, questionable things have always like that turned out. I don't know how it did, but it did. But anyway, so the hot poker thing, getting back to the story, Grim is calling it beer brulee, which isn't a bad name for it. I don't think we had a good name for it, but since we haven't talked about it for a minute, I figured now's the the time to go over it because this is the perfect time of the year for hot poker beers, So the idea originally comes from Germany, where it's called Bier Stockeln, I think is the way you say it. Probably not, but close enough. The legend is German blacksmiths would use their red hot pokers they had on hand to warm up their beers during the cold winter months. The intense heat from the poker caramelizes the residual malt sugars in the beer. That creates deep toffee notes and a towering head of warm, silky, toasted marshmallow-like foam. The process also releases a lot of carbonation from the beer, so it will make the beer seem a little softer than it did before, maybe almost cask-like. The foam is usually, pretty warm, but the beer itself stays pretty cool, so there's an interesting contrast in temperatures when you drink it as well. And it can make for a pretty decadent drinking experience. You're basically desertifying whatever you have, and if it was already a little sweet to begin with, it's getting even more sweet and even more rich. So for best results, you're going to want a beer that is, has a lot of residual sugars, like we're saying. It doesn't have to be a stout. That's a good choice. The milk stout's a great choice. Some of the other things we've talked about are good as well. It has to have, I've also had some moderate success with improving some cellar beers that are a little past their prime in this way. They have some oxidative flavors, but if they have a lot of still residual sugars and you caramelize those, you can kind of balance out some of that and create a nearly drinkable beer. So it's worth trying for beers that you're probably going to dump anyway. But so if you'd like to try it for yourself, Google the beer caramelizer. That's the one we've been using for years. It will run you about $35. It's the same price it's been for, I don't know, the 4 or 5 years we've had it. They haven't raised the price. They're not a sponsor, but they did send us one back in the day, and I actually bought one for myself so I could caramelize whenever I wanted to. And if you don't have a good fire handy, which is the best way to do it, you can achieve good results with an inexpensive, creme brulee torch or a fondue candle and some patience. You just need to get that thing nice and hot. And even if it doesn't hit 1,000 degrees like it would in the center of a fire, fireplace or whatever, you'll get good results. It'll do the trick.
You'll get there. Yeah. But Beer Guys recommend it. It's something that
Absolutely.
is a cool experience, especially in the cold there. And my tip here is chill your beer a little more than you normally would. Like,
yes.
If you start at cellar temp, maybe, take it down a little bit more because it doesn't fully warm the beer up, but it does warm it up some there. So if you want to have like a cellar temp beer with a nice warm marshmallowy head in there, just chill it down a little bit more before you poke it and you'll be good to go.
That is a really good point. Yeah, for sure.
But try it out. So, Brian, I think this is something that kind of started as a joke on social media and kind of went from there. But from Natural Light, which they've always been good about doing little fun and crazy stuff here, but they have something they're calling the Natty Tread Mower Contest coming up.
Yeah. It's, like you said, Natural Light, they just kind of this. I happened to see this in passing. I followed them recently for, I don't even know why, because I'm not really a big Natural Light drinker, but they got this great contest running now. It honestly funny contest, and if you hate the winner specifically because it means you don't get to cut the grass, you need to listen up. This is your contest. Natural Light is giving away something they're calling the Natty Tread Mower. Like you said, it's part treadmill, part lawnmower, and apparently all real, except or at least a concept model of it is, and you can win it. They say it's quote made for getting cut while pretending to cut. So, and it's all over their social media right now. If you can imagine a treadmill that's made to look like a lawnmower on grass, you basically got it. Like what you're walking on, that treadmill, that's grass. That's like a turf, and there's turf on the sides, and the front of it is all lawnmower. Like it looks like a real lawnmower. And it has a monitor above the lawnmower handles, which are the treadmill handles you'd hold on to, that shows you a video of your mower cutting grass and plays all the appropriate mowing sounds. And it also shows you the typical treadmill walking stats, I think distance and things like that. But if you'd like to enter to win this totally immersive grass cutting experience that will get you fit, probably head over to naturallight.com/treadmower. TREADMOWER, treadmower. So and stay motivated. That's their other tagline. So
it's a Peloton for mowing the grass, basically what we've got here.
Yes.
So see, they could, depending on what they do, they could integrate a game thing. Because trust me, man, if you've got a mowing the grass video game, there probably is a mowing the grass video game.
Oh, I'm sure
there is.
But okay,
absolutely.
there you go. But you know, like, okay, you got to cut these lines, and you know, certain people go different ways, so they got the pinstripes there, Nate.
That's right.
You know, Nate's pinstriping. So, or maybe they could the challenge is to cut a checkerboard pattern in there, or maybe every now and then they have like a gopher run out in front of you. You got to make sure you don't get anything. So. Yeah, I'm sure everyone at Natty Light sits in the boardroom and listens to our podcast each week to kick off the week. So, Natty, you're free to use any of these ideas if you don't have them in the hopper already.
Absolutely. So. And Beer Snob, Sean, you can win without drinking it. You don't have to. Go to that website. You can enter it. I think it's like all these contests. They have to let you enter without buying the product. So
no purchase.
You can definitely get one. And if you win it, I want to see video of you using it.
Yeah, I want to see the thing in action. Have any of their campaign posts actually shown it in action, or has it been still images so far?
They got a video of a guy that looks like he's all dressed up to cut the lawn, and he's getting all sweaty doing it, rubbing his brow, and at the end of it, I think it says it's natty time or something like that.
All right.
When he hits his goal, so he cracks open a beer at the end of it. So if you go to their social media, or if you go to the website, there is video of it. It really is a thing. So. And it does an incline too, so it's like a treadmill that does an incline. So you can mow up a hill.
Mow the hills.
Yeah, oh yeah. You can do some hills on this thing.
The future is now, Brian.
It is. It totally is.
Good stuff. Well, Brian, moving along. Another thing we kind of teased in the intro there with your PBR Godzilla pack. Now, Brian, you've got PBR Godzilla cans. How many cans came in the pack that you bought?
Oh, I got a 6-pack, so that's right off the shelf.
Brian. Yeah, that is weak because Godzilla PBR cans come available in a 99 pack.
Oh, I didn't see that. It would have been difficult to probably find that at my local grocery store, but I'm not saying it's impossible. But yeah, so this is another fun bit of marketing. The PBR 99 pack is back again. This time around, it's actually Godzilla themed. So we talked about the collaboration cans in a couple shows ago. It's a PBR collaborate with Toho International, the studio behind Godzilla, and artist Attack Peter, who does like woodcut print type of style of art. I forget the exact terminology for it. You can still find those cans around on shelves if you look for them. They're not everywhere, but I see them occasionally, so they're not gone yet. Well, this 99 pack is an extension on that collaboration. There's only 4,000 of these packs that are being released nationwide. The box, which is a very long box, we're not talking about a cube, but it's it's an extension of a 6-pack to fit 99, basically. But the box features more art than the original cans. The original can just has Godzilla on it. This one includes kaiju like Mothra, Mechagodzilla, and King Ghidorah. This little fun bit of marketing razzle-dazzle is PBR's alternative, their plan for spending money to advertise instead of spending big money on the big game. So they don't want to advertise during the Super Bowl, and I think this will work out for them just as well. I don't know if it's official, but various sources have claimed that the Godzilla 99 pack will cost $99. People have cleverly pointed out online that the beer that's in this pack is actually more expensive than smaller packaging. So if you got a case of it, it would actually be cheaper than $1 a beer. But if you get it in this pack, they're $1 a beer. So
all right.
I also don't think anybody's buying this beer because it's a good deal for Pabst. But I don't know. If you're curious, the 99 of these beers is 99.28 gallons of beer, and the pack is said to weigh over 80 pounds. So keep that in mind. If you want to buy one, you're going to need to be able to lift about 80 pounds and get that into a cart and check that out. I don't even know how they're going to do that. But so, Tim, if you see one of these, are you going to buy it?
Oh, absolutely not. No. It's cool. Have no use for 99 cans of PBR, though. So I would not. There was a time in my life, that I would have. And, maybe if I was having a big party, it was the middle of the summer or something. I'm not having 30 friends over for the Super Bowl, so I don't need, that much PBR. Anyhow, if it was my friends, it wouldn't be PBR here anyhow.
You did have cool. You did have a dinosaur made entirely out of beer boxes.
I did. Right? Yeah. Natty Light, actually. Nattysaurus Rex. I did have Nattysaurus Rex here for a while. Yeah. So I adopted him out to another owner, and saw him later and asked what happened. Apparently they left him like on a porch or something, and it rained and destroyed Natty Saurus Rex. And for those who have no idea what I'm talking about, this was probably a 5 foot tall cardboard Tyrannosaurus Rex statue made out of Natty light boxes. So it was cool. It was
very cool. Yeah.
I am a middle-aged dude that kept it in his dining room for like 6 months until I realized I'm a middle-aged dude with a Natty Saurus dinosaur in my dining room, and I gave him away. I grew up. I grew up there. So
that was about 10 years ago too, probably.
Yeah, at least a decade ago, at least. But it was cool. It was neat to have there. But yeah, Brian, I don't have a use for a 99 PBRs this time. What about you, Nate? You seem like the one who may have the crowd that could most likely, go through 99 of these. Could you do a 99 pack of Godzilla PBRs?
So actually in search of, because Party Nate sent me a post about this on Instagram. I was like, oh, wow, that's cool, because he loves Godzilla and we both enjoy PBR. So, $1 a can. I understand that it's not as cheap as some of the smaller pack formats, but it's kind of a cool thing.
And still, a buck a can. Are they tall boys or 12 ounces in there?
Oh, that's a good question.
Photo looks like they're 12 ounces.
I don't know if I'm not sure I've ever seen a PBR in a. Yeah, it looks like it does say 12 ounce cans there.
Yeah, I think it is. They are 12 ounce cans.
I think anytime I've been around them, it's always been the tall boys.
Yeah, I would have assumed it was 16 ounce cans.
Yeah. That's what the bars here, like our dive bars, they like the PBR tall boys are always the ones.
I've definitely had some of this. It's a shame I've never had the Godzilla PBR while playing the Godzilla pinball game, but I've had PBR while playing pinball.
You have had PBR doing that. You did have Narragansett.
Oh, playing Jaws.
Playing the Jaws pinball, though.
So I did do that,
So you did do that. You're almost there. We need to do some searching and see how many beer pinball collabs are. And now we were talking about microphone earlier. So they just recently did a collaboration with Stern, because Stern Pinball is based in Chicago area, as well as microphones in a suburb there. So they just did, I forget the name of it, but they had not specifically for like a machine or a game or anything, but it is a pinball.
As a pinball
beer collaboration. Yeah. So
I'm going to keep an eye out for that. My particular honey hole that occasionally gets microphone beers. So maybe I'll get it, maybe I won't. But yeah, definitely.
And I don't think Narragansett did one for. Did they do a Jaws can, or did they do something special for the 50th? Was it 50th anniversary? I guess it would have been.
I think it's 50th. Right? I don't know if they. Oh no, they re-released the retro can, the can that was in the movie, because it was an old school can.
All right.
So it made sense because the movie had the can in it. That's what they were drinking, but it was an old can. So I think they re-released the retro can for the 50th anniversary, or in time for it. So I think that was the tie-in. But the Jaws game, the pinball game came out, so you could drink Narragansett and play the pinball game, and it's a fun game. It's not my favorite table, to be honest, but it's fine. Yeah.
We did a field trip one time to play a beer themed pinball. I think it was a PBR, like the PBR Can Crusher, the PBR Crusher.
Yes, that's right.
Terrible pinball machine. Just an absolute horrible game. But
not very good at all.
But was a neat concept. Yeah, we'll look that up. We'll see how many of these mashups, these collabs that we can find there with that. So
definitely
it'd be kind of cool to see exactly what they're doing. Yeah, so that's Microphone did one called Stirring Up the Volume.
So
that a recent collaboration thing they did with Stern Pinball. So that's pretty cool. But y'all, I think that about wraps it up for this episode. We definitely appreciate you coming and hanging out with us. If you enjoy what we're doing here, we would love it if you would tell a friend to listen and subscribe to the show. If you really enjoy what we're doing, then we would be very appreciative if you went to patreon.com/beerguys. Support the show there. We'll get you out some swag, and we'll get you invited to our Discord server. You come over here for after parties and just general chit chat on the Discord server. But with all that said, we hope that you have a really, really good week. And don't forget to drink local. Cheers.